My name is Isiaku Isa Binta, and today's Thursday, and Thursdays are what trailers and true crime, stories, real pictures, real people, real voices, real pictures. Yeah. So every Thursday I come around and I tell you stories, true crime stories from all around the world. And yeah. So if it seems like something you might like, stick around and maybe by the end of this video I'll give you a reason to follow me. You never know. So yeah, before I go further, I have to give you a little disclaimer. Yeah, so this video is not for children. I mean, obviously we're going to be talking about very, very morbid terms, so this is not suitable for your children or any children for that matter. So viewers discretion is advised. That's just what it means. Be discreet, okay? Yeah, I used just public records to make this video. You could check it out, get more details, if you want. You could just use Google. Yeah. So this story was the, oh god, I don't know how to explain the level of petrification I feel calling this name Clifford Orji. Very, very, it sends shivers down my spine. Enough spoilers. Let's get into the video. So Clifford Orji was said to have been born in 1964 or 1965. Nobody is really sure. Yeah, and his early life is clouded in mystery. Nobody knew, what his childhood was like or anything like that. But it is said that, when he was a teenager, he was walking around the streets of Lagos. He was selling razor blades. Yeah, he was selling razor blades around the city of Lagos. So people knew him for that. Then, few years later, Clifford decided that he was now mad. Yeah, he decided he was now mad. So he was staying under a bridge, along Toyota bus stop, Apapa's Oshodi Expressway. So he was there, and then when people would pass, he would take a stone or a stick and chase them away. Typical madman behavior. He was looking tattered. He was dressing tattered. His hair, everything. He had this stench of never have I taken my bath in like 100 years. Who knew, right? So yeah, he had this, the madman persona, going just fine for him because everybody knew him. Passers-by knew him because he was always there. He was always there. Now, some people also said that Clifford Orji claimed that he was a soothsayer or a babalawo of some sort. Yeah, he was giving people, I don't know, traditional medicine. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why people would take anything from that kind of person. I mean, forget about unhygienic, but is he not mad? Like, do you know what he concocted into it? Anyways, it is said that people went to him for, God, Nigerians, right? Anything traditional, fetish, and whatever you could really dribble. People are gullible. You can dribble people's mind and tell them that, yeah, I'm a spiritualist and I can do all of these favors for you, and then me myself is dejected and poor, but I will tell you that I'm going to make you rich, and then people believe him. People believed him. Well, unfortunately for them, Clifford Orji was not just after their money, he was after their life. Yes, because Clifford Orji started kidnapping and unaliving people. So Clifford Orji was kidnapping people on a regular. Side note, nobody even knows the extent. Nobody even know how many people he had, how many victims he had. Yes, nobody even knew. But he was, kidnapping people, and he was unaliving them. He was dismembering them. Oh my goodness, he was dismembering people. So now, he was doing it for years and years, and only God knows how long, and only God knows how many people. But on a very fateful morning, it was said to be around 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. So this man was coming back from the church. He went for a nice vigil. So he was coming back from the church. So he was passing the bridge and he was singing this church hymn. He was singing and he was singing. And then suddenly he heard somebody with a very faint voice that was singing along with him. I mean, it was very quiet at that time in the morning. A lot of people were not out yet. So it was easier for him to hear the voice. The voice was sounding very weak and faint, but it was unmistakable. Now this man, he was curious. He was curious because there seemed to be nobody here. So who is under that bridge and who is singing along with me? I guess it was his fate to find this. it was, and we do thank God he found it, because he got onto that bridge and he was following the voice. He was trying to like meander his way, figure out where's the who was singing along. He said the first thing he noticed was a foul stench, a foul stench of, well, decayed, bodies. So he was, I guess he was really really curious, because he went further and he found this very very emaciated woman. Emaciated meaning she was just skin and bones. There was nothing else, just skin and bones. Of course he was terrified, he was petrified. He ran away and started screaming, because he needed other people to come and see what he just saw. And luckily for this man, Clifford was not there, because if he was there, he would probably have chased him away with a stick or a stone, and all of this would not have come to light. But Clifford wasn't there. So people started coming because the man was screaming bloody murder. You could just imagine it was you and you saw all of these things. I can't even look at accident sites. I can't, talk more of, seeing decapitated people, seeing limbs. Some of them were quaking in a pot. Yes, some of them were lying around, and then there were tons and tons and tons of skulls. Some people said even over 100 skulls were found. And a heaps of clothes of people, male, female, young, old, all of it. Now the victim that they found, that was singing along, that was somewhat alive, barely alive. She was a middle-aged woman. She was a middle-aged woman, and she's said to have disappeared from Ibadan. Yeah, and then she appeared. Who knows how many years she had spent under Clifford Orji's I don't know, carnage. People were shouting, they were calling for Clifford's blood, because now there's a plethora of, dead and decayed, bodies, and somebody has to explain this. Somebody had to explain this. Now, whilst during the commotion, some people called the police, but before the police got there, Clifford was coming back from wherever he was coming back from, and then people saw him. When he saw a mob, saw people gathered, he wanted to run away, but somebody saw him, so the youth pounced on him. I mean, they almost lynched him to death. I mean, I do not support jungle justice, because a lot of innocent people have been, you know, lynched before they had a chance to plead their case, and some of them were innocent. So I think we should leave all of this to the law. But yeah, Clifford was lynched, was beaten black and blue before the police got there to save him. This story blew up over Nigeria. I am so surprised that a lot of people don't know who Clifford Orji is, because I was just a kid when this happened. That was 1999, and I bet you I never forgot about Disney. I never forgot about Disney, because as at then we didn't know that men could descend to that lowest level of depravity. I mean, could you imagine? Could you imagine somebody is eating another person's flesh or selling them? Because now people were saying, rumor has it that they saw a lot of money on in the in the rooms of the whatever. They saw a lot of money, and they saw a handset. Now a phone then, 1999, not a lot of people have it. Not landline now. I'm talking about the handset. A lot of people didn't have it. Only the elites, the cream de la cream, they're the ones that have it. So how did he get it? So there was this theory. People were saying that maybe he was selling all of these limbs to rich men, for ritual purposes, rich politicians or whatever. Some people even said sometimes they see, very big cars, very expensive cars parked, around that bridge. So people were instigating, maybe that was the whole point. Maybe he didn't eat all of these people, because the clothes, the skulls, there were a lot of people, and only God knew how many years it took for all of this to happen. Clifford Orji was taken to prison, and nothing happened. There was no trial. There was nothing said about it. In fact, the government did their very best to bury all of this. Yes. So I guess 13 years later, Clifford Orji died in prison. Yes, without any trial, without any case and whatever. I guess the authorities didn't want to associate Nigeria with that kind of bad publicity. And who could blame them? Who could blame them? Now in 1999, imagine that. Just imagine that. Imagine that it's like from a movie. It's like from a movie, or it's like something we hear, overseas. And then this is what is happening. It happened in Nigeria, in modern day Nigeria, because 1999. I don't know. Do you know? Have you ever heard the story of Clifford Orji, or is this your first time? Because people not knowing this story is unacceptable to me, because it was terrible. It was terrible. You guys need to tell me what you think about this story. Do you think that Clifford Orji was really doing all of this for wealthy rich men as some sort of ritual, or was he just a madman that was just craving with a very very he was craving the the abominable. Yes. So what do you really think? Do you think that he was mad, or do you think that he was doing it for money? And another thing is this: why is it that they did not make further inquiries? Because maybe Clifford was not doing this all alone. Maybe he had a lot of people that he would have confessed and told the authorities if they tried. Or maybe they did try, and maybe they found out something, and that's why they just wanted to bury the case. I really don't know. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, he had a neighbor. Yes, he had a neighbor, a fellow madman neighbor that were under the bridge with him, and him too was arrested because they saw some of the little things there, and people don't really know if it was Clifford that was taking it to the other man's place or what, because people were wondering how could Clifford be doing all of these things for all of these years without this his neighbor knowing about it. So yeah, both of them were arrested. Both of them were arrested. Wow, this case sends shivers to my sends shivers, because those people went through hell, and that surviving woman, I don't know what happened to her thereafter, but I bet you even if she would physically recover, mentally she never would, because she was starved in the midst of decaying bodies. Could you just imagine that? Could you just imagine that? I am really, really glad that she found the strength to even sing along to something. Because who knows? Who knew how long this would have taken place? Who knew how long Clifford would have been doing this? Oh my goodness. Well, this is the end of the story. If you got this far, you know, do me well to like, subscribe, share, follow, and whatnot. And I would really, really appreciate it. Yeah, on behalf of my family and I need to tell you guys, we really appreciate your support. Everybody that is here, we really appreciate it, and we don't take this for granted, okay? Yeah. So what's gonna happen is I'm going to see you same time, same day next week, okay?